Merchant of Venice. Act 3, Scene 4. Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Lorenzo. Madam, I don't hesitate to speak to you in your presence that you have a good understanding of spiritual friendship. It is shown in the way you bear the absence of your husband. If you knew to whom you have shown his honor and how good a man he is to whom you have sent help, how close a friend he is of your husband. You would be proud of what you have done. Your actions is more valuable than your usual acts of generosity. Portia, I have never regretted for having done a good deed, neither do I repent for it now. When two friends spend their time together, show deep respect for each other, and when their souls are joined together by the same bond of love, there must be some similarity in characteristics, behavior, and disposition between both of them. This is this makes me conclude that Antonio, being the dearest friend of my husband, must be like my husband. If this is the case, there is hardly any sacrifice made by me to save the likeness of my husband from such a horrible misery. That sounds too much like giving credit to myself, so I shall say no more. Lorenzo, I entrust to you the care and management of my household until my husband comes back. I have made a solemn vow to live in prayer and meditation with no other attendant except Nerissa till our husband return. There is a monastery 2 miles away, and there we will live. I request you not to refuse the task which my love and my presence necessity make me place upon you. Lorenzo. Madam, I will obey your command wholeheartedly. Portia. My servants already know my intentions. They will accept you and Jessica as a master as mistress in place of Lord Bassanio and myself. Goodbye, till we meet again. Lorenzo. May your thoughts be pleasant and your house pass happily. Jessica. I wish you, madam, the fulfillment of all your desires. Portia. Thank you for your wish. I wish you the same. Goodbye, Jessica. Now, Balthazar, I have always found you honest and trustworthy. May I continue to find you so. Take this letter, hurry up, and go as fast as a man can to Odia. Give this letter to my cousin, Dr. Valerio. Take care of the documents and robes he may give you. Bring them with utmost speed to the Tannet, as the public ferry is called, which carries passengers for hire to Venice. Don't waste time in talking, but go at once. I shall be at the ferry before you reach there. Balthazar, madam, I will go as fast as I can. Portia, come, Nerissa. I have a plan in mind about which you do not know as yet. We shall be where our husbands are when they least expect to see us. Nerissa, will they see us there? Portia, yes, but in such a disgust they will think that we are equipped with the qualities of men which in reality we lack. I am prepared to bet with you any amount. When we are both dressed as young men, I will be more handsome of the two. I will wear more gallantry, my dagger by my side. I will speak with a voice similar to a boy's voice, breaking into the deeper voice of a man. I shall take one large step instead of two feminine steps that I take now. I will speak of brave fights like a boastful young man. I will tell elaborate lies about how honorable ladies wanted my love, which when I denied they would fall sick and die. I would also tell them that I could not do anything but express sorrow and wish that I had not been the cause of their deaths. I will tell many more such credible lies. Men will believe that I have left school no more than a year ago. I know many inexperienced ways or boastful young fellows. I will try to use all of them. But come and I will let you know my entire plan when we are in the carriage, which is now waiting for us at the entrance to the park. Let us hurry up because we have 20 miles to cover today. They depart.